Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development, as we take a look at the 4 stakes races on the Saturday card at Saratoga. And as far as we know, they make up an all-stakes pick 4. We're not entirely sure about that, but we're going to handicap it for that. And there's also a late pick 4 that will give you a ticket on that as well. But let's just go through the races first, Jim, and we'll start in the 7th. The Grade 3 Amsterdam is a sprint for 3-year-olds at 6.5 furlongs. So this one's restricted just to the 3-year-olds. And where did you land?
Yeah, I thought this was a well-matched field. I landed on Engage horse for Chad Brown. I can't imagine picking a Chad Brown horse, but he does pretty well upstate New York as well. Engage, the 3 horses, paired up back-to-back lifetime buyers of 92. Had a good second in the Grade 2 Woody Stevens on Belmont Day. Looks like there's enough speed set up in here to set up his late kick. So I think Engage is going to be my top pick in here. Also going to use World of Trouble, the 6 horse who was the favorite horse in the Woody Stevens, and just kind of gave it up at the top of the stretch and ran a kind of a non-threatening 4th. Got beat by 4 3/4 by Engage and by Promises Fulfilled, who's also in the field. But World of Trouble, I'm going to give him a shot to bounce back with a hot trainer, Jason Service. And Promises Fulfilled is dangerous if nobody runs with him. So if he were to get off an easy lead, I think he's got a real shot. So Engage is my top pick in the Amsterdam, but I'm going to use 3 when we get to the pick 4.
I liked all 3 of those. I'll have them in exactas, but I ended up going to Strike Power. It's maybe a little bit of a reach here. He certainly ran a clunker off the layoff, but I like the 5 good works that have followed that performance from Mark Hennig, and I like the fact that Johnny Velasquez stays with this horse. And I just think Hennig could pick an easier spot if he didn't think the horse was ready to bounce back and show him what he showed back in the winter at Gulfstream. So I'm going to give him one more chance, and if I'm right, I'll get a little better price, and then I would use him in exactas with the ones that you mentioned, and I'll probably spread when we come to the pick 4 using all 4 of those. The 8th race is also a sprint, but this is for 3-year-olds and up, and they're going a 16th shorter, just 6 furlongs in here. And I started on Imperial Hint, but I switched to Switzerland. This horse looks like it's definitely in peak form, and I just think he has the look of a horse that's ready to make this move up to Grade 1 company. They've been patient with him, and it's had 4 works at Saratoga. It's a good work pattern for Asmussen, and the Asmussen barn's been doing well. And I have a nagging feeling that Imperial Hint is not quite as good as he was last year. And if he is, then I think he wins this. But I'm going to go with Switzerland over Imperial Hint. If you use one more, I'd say for me it would be Warriors Club. But I like Switzerland in the Vanderbilt. How about you?
Yeah, that's why there's 2 of us on here, because I'm going to take the opposite tack. I think Imperial Hint is a single here, and I think he's won 6 of his last 8, including Grade 2 True North at Belmont, second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint in 2017. And I think he's cycling back to his 2017 form, and if he does, he blows his field away. I think you're right, Switzerland is a horse improving. I just can't see. I mean, it took him 7 to break his maiden now, given he's 4 for 4 since then, and he's got a couple hundred triple-digit buyers at Oaklawn and Pimlico. Never been to Saratoga. A big step up from a Grade 3 to Grade 1. I like him to run behind Imperial Hint, so that's going to be my exacta, but I'm going to take Imperial Hint to 4. Warriors Club, if he wins, they may not have a big enough winner's circle because the Churchill Downs Racing Club will be there in full force, I would imagine. They got 200 members that own this horse, and the horse has won over $600,000 for the team. So it'd be nice to see a big old Churchill Downs winner's circle at Saratoga. He's my 3rd choice in here. He came close in the Grade 2 Churchill Downs on Derby Day, and they brought him the Met Mile. He wasn't good enough. Big step up to Grade 1. So I think the class of Imperial Hint shines through here, and he takes the Vanderbilt.
Warriors Club ran well last summer at Saratoga. That's when he kind of started to get good, so he likes that track.
He does. He might surprise somebody.
9th race is the Grade 2 Bowling Green on the turf at 1 mile and 3/8. And I thought this was a nicely matched group. Who did you go with?
Yeah, this is the best race of the day, I think. When we talked about the pick of the week, I think we did the Vanderbilt because it's Grade 1, but I think this one's a better betting race. High Happy has been a horse that I have not been crazy about. It seems like he beats me a lot, so I'm going to take him now. So you might want to play against him since I'm taking him this time. He's beaten Sadler's Joy a couple of times. there's not much difference in them. Sadler's Joy's running style really bothers me a lot. I mean, Castellano is riding him back for the second time, and he did keep him a little closer than Manhattan, and maybe that's the trick, because he comes from out either going to win by a nose or narrowly get beat, break your heart. So I'm going to say that High Happy is going to fit here, and his positional speed gives him a slight edge over Sadler's Joy. Sadler's Joy is my second choice, obviously. Money Multiplier just got nipped in Grade 1 United Nations, has run back-to-back 103 buyers. Got a fairly good trainer in Chad Brown, runs another 103. He's right there. So that's my top 3, 6, 7, and 8, with a very slight nod to High Happy, the 7.
Yeah, I ended up on him too. I thought the pace might have been a little hot for him in the Manhattan. Still finished right there with the group at the wire. I like Johnny V taking the mount on this horse. I think that could be a really big plus here for High Happy. And the last 3 works very good as well for this one. So I like High Happy in here. Hope to get a little bit of a price. The ones you mentioned would definitely be on my ticket. A couple of others. I thought Highland Sky is a horse that has flashed some ability that makes you think there's a lot more there. Maybe he's starting to get it because he ran a 103 buyer last time. And if he runs back to that, that'd be good enough to contend in here. And so I'm going to include Highland Sky for a little bit of a price, thinking that, if it's a light bulb has come on kind of horse, that he could jump up and win this. Channel Maker's the other one I might take a look at in here, the 2-horse. 10th race is the Grade 2 Jim Dandy for 3-year-olds, a Travers Prep at 1 mile and 1/8. And it's not a real strong field here. There's not much speed, so I took a swing with Sporting Chance. This horse has loved Saratoga. He's 2 for 2 there. And without any speed, I think they could take this horse and maybe put him on the front end and be tough. Tenfold and Vino Rosso I would also use just on their class, but I don't think either one of them is the next big thing, so at least not yet. So I'm going to try for a little bit of an upset with Sporting Chance. How about you?
Yeah, it's tough with the Jim Dandy running the same weekend as the Haskell on Sunday, and the weak field, 5 horses for a $600,000 purse is amazing to me. But every once in a while you get that. I'm going to take Vino Rosso here. A very tepid choice. He ran well in the Belmont, only lost to Justify by 3 3/4. No experience at Saratoga, but Tenfold disappointed me in the Belmont. I thought he'd run big in the Belmont, and I think the Preakness may have taken more out of him than I realized. He's had a little time to recover, and he's my second choice in here. And that's how I'd stand in the pick 4, unless I'm going, when we get to the ticket, I might just go ahead and expand it, take all. It doesn't take much money to take 5 horses. And I can make a case for Flame Away. I can make a case for Sporting Chance in here. So it's not really, they got Vino Rosso as the even money choice and 8-5 on Tenfold. It might be worth taking a little flyer here because I think your horse has a shot at 8-1. So, but Vino Rosso is my tepid choice in the Jim Dandy.
Now, that wraps up the stakes races, so we believe there's an all-stakes pick 4. So if, assuming there is, give me your all-stakes pick 4 ticket, and then we'll talk a little bit about the 11th for a late pick 4.
Okay. First race on the 7th, I'm going to take 236 in the Amsterdam. That's Engage, World of Trouble, and Promises Fulfilled, 236. Going to single the 4 in the Vanderbilt, Imperial Hint, so 236 with 4. Very simple ticket here. I'm going to use 6, 7, 8 in the Bowling Green, High Happy, Sadler's Joy, and Money Multiplier. And then I'm going to go ahead and go all in the Jim Dandy. It's not a very big ticket. That's only a $22.50 ticket, 3 by single by 3 by 5. So that's the way I'm going to stack up my all stakes pick 4.
I'm going to start out with a 4 spot in the Amsterdam, 2, 3, 5, 6. Strike Power is the one I like, but I'm going to use 2, 3, 5, 6. Use 1 and 4 in the next leg, Switzerland and Imperial Hint. I'm going to go High Happy, Sadler's Joy. I'm going to use Highland Sky and Money Multiplier, so that would be 1, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to use 2, 4, 5 in the Jim Dandy. So that's 4 by 2 by 4 by 3 for me. Now, the 11th race is a non-winners of one other than allowance on the turf at 1 mile and 1/8. And I had you could single Chad Brown and take a shot there with the reverse the decision at 5-2 on the morning line, and comes off good races. But I don't think he's a cinch. And so then I think if you don't single him, then it's hard to narrow it down. So what I ended up doing was taking 6 horses here in what my late pick 4 ticket's going to be. I'm going to use reverse the decision. Cash Out is a horse that I have lost on too much, but I'm going to second off a layoff here, and the first race off the layoff was decent, and Rusty Arnold usually brings them ready to fire to Saratoga, so I'm going to include Cash Out for a price. Cloak of Secrecy for Walsh, I think it's a little dangerous. Ferdinanda, the 7 I'm going to use. Frippery, the 4, Rosario's really riding well. The 5, Sippin' Kitten. So I'm going to use 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. And so my late pick 4 ticket, I'm going to use the 2 horses in the Vanderbilt that I like, Switzerland, Imperial Hint. I'm going to cut out money multiplier, just use 3 in the Bowling Green on that ticket. So I'm going to use 1, 6, 7. Use the 3 in the Jim Dandy, and then the 6 horses in the last leg. So 2 by 3 by 3 by 6 for me. What's your late pick 4 look like?
And mine is Singling Imperial Hint, the 4, with 6, 7, 8, with 5 horses in the last leg, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. I think you talked about just about all of those. Reverse the Decision would be my top choice. But don't throw out Cloak of Secrecy for Giroux at 12 to 1, coming off a maiden win. That one, if you get 12 to 1, she's worth a win bet here because she's getting good now, and she just broke her maiden. You're going to get overlooked here. Florent sticks around for the last race, and I think she's got a real shot. So I'm going to do 6, 7, 10, 11, 12 in the last race. So that's 4 with 6, 7, 8 with all with 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. I think that's $37.50.
Best of luck with your Saturday wagers. Got the Haskell card coming up on Sunday, so a great card there as well. Anything else the listeners need to know about?
No, Haskell is it's not a superstar race. Obviously, those of us at Keeneland that like to see the Bluegrass back to a Grade 1 status would like to see Good Magic win the Haskell.
Yes.
That would help us a lot. So I may just watch that one and pull for Good Magic, and hopefully he's back to his winning ways after a good Preakness. They left him off to the Belmont, and he's the class of the race. Let's hope he wins and gets a Grade 1 under his belt. Another Grade 1. That'll be his 3rd one.
Yes. Best of luck with your Saturday wagers, and we'll be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.